I think there's great people who are making the outdoors and making that the place where people can connect and learn about their community and like find peace. A few months ago when everything was popping off in the news in like the worst ways, I remember talking with my therapist about, it's like I sit on scroll on my phone and it's just like death, destruction, chaos back to back. And then I like look out my window and the sun is shining and like the squirrels are running around and the wind is blowing, and it's like, it's the juxtaposition of like the world looks like it's burning, but then you look out your window and it's just a beautiful day. And I think there's power in going out and touching grass and hugging the tree and using that to help recenter yourself in this kind of chaotic world. It's free to go and walk around your neighborhood, and there's so much beauty that you can look back on and feel happiness from. And so I think Third Spaces to me is the outdoors, and because that's a place where anybody can come and meet, and we can do free yoga in the park with Tony. We can go on walks with friends. We can debate porches. Like, I don't know, I feel like that's the theme throughout my life has been nature and the power of the outdoors. Mic check, 1, 2, 3.
You don't need to do that. We're past
Mic
that.
check, mic check, mic check.
Hello, my name is Michael Zarick, and this is Third Space Indy. Today's guest is somebody very special to me, if you don't know. Her name has come up, maybe not her name, but certainly her title has come up in every episode of the podcast so far.
Current wife.
My current wife, Anna Darling, the light of my life. We've been married for a little over a year. We've been dating for much longer. And
Friends for much longer.
Friends for
even longer.
10 years. More than. Since 2014, where we met in Bloomington. The reason Anna Darling is coming on, she did not ask, I asked her, is because this is the 25th episode of Third Space Indy. 25th official episode. There's two bonus episodes.
That's true.
And there will likely be more bonus episodes as I satiate my craving for content, my own personal craving.
Welcome to my world.
Anna is a Fox 59 reporter, which we will not be discussing today, for the most part. But more importantly, Anna is my wife, my best friend, and somebody who is, I pull along and tell the names of random people until the only reason Anna knows any of the people on this podcast is because they are on the podcast, and she is the most valiant listener. Other than my mother.
Yeah, I listen to every episode on Mondays, usually when it drops. And I know like all the people and like the backstories of how you met the people and like the funny interactions you have. And I hear about all the woes of your technical difficulties first, you know. It's quite the roller coaster.
And to the point of Anna being a news person, this more than any other activity in my life, this has given me a sincere respect for the people in the news. First of all, they're on that grind. My job on this podcast is much easier than the people who are out there day-to-day reporting.
It's a lot of hard work for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then when you also inevitably forget to press record or forget to turn on your mic or, you know, I've been there and I can relate.
Yeah,
I feel your struggle.
It's a cyclical relationship we have here. But anyways, Anna said that she had a specific topic in mind that she wanted to discuss on the podcast. Unless you've gone back on that. In which case we can just talk.
You told me to not. You told me this was your podcast and that you would ask the questions. So I ceased planning. So.
Perfect. Okay. In that case, I do have some ideas of what we'll talk about. So I'd like to talk about Indianapolis community in the context of our 10 years knowing each other.
Okay.
Is that it? So
yeah.
When we first met, we were at Indianapolis, Bloomington.
IU Bloomington?
What the fuck am I saying? IU Bloomington.
In Bloomington.
Bloomington, Indiana.
Indiana University.
Home of Indiana University, not Indiana State or the University of Indiana. Neither of those other things. We lived in a dorm called Forest, and I lived on the 8th floor, which was all male, and I lived on the 9th floor, which was all female. And because we had to enforce gender roles, our individual RAs...
they scheduled a speed friending event for our floors.
Yeah, I don't want to talk too much. You should speak.
And we did not meet in the speed friending, but my friend on my floor did meet with you. And afterwards she said, when it was all done, she said, Anna, meet Michael. And I just remember you were really tall. And I was like, hi. And you were like, hey. And that's kind of how we first met. And then our floors would just hang out all the time, which was fun. And then later, when I joined my sorority, you were already friends with the girl who I had become best friends with, Kirsten.
Yeah.
So it just kind of all...
You stole friends from me.
Yeah, we just...
That's what I heard.
I mean... Shout out Kirsten. She's my girl. So yeah, I mean, we just had friends in common, and our floors would hang out, and I would just like see you around, and you were always so like friendly and like not... I don't know. I was always so comfortable around you. Because boys were always weird. I don't know.
Yeah, well, I'm glad I give off a comforting aura.
I was always very comfortable and happy being your friend.
So the reason I wanted to start at the very beginning is because when you think about community spaces, not only are college campuses such excellent conduits for human connection, they are specifically, in many cases, built to foster that type of thing, but on a more pointed level, like dormitories, the the authoritarian demands of a university to force freshmen to live in a dormitory is actually like a perfect way to like force you to meet people and make friends.
Yes, it's very pivotal. Very pivotal. Yeah, and especially you're in a whole new environment with all these new people. I had a random roommate, so I didn't even know the person I was like moving into with, and the people on the floor, you have no idea. I mean, all the other floors on Forest were co-ed. Our floors were the only ones who were single gendered, which was interesting. I don't know. I feel like it was...
Honestly, as somebody who went to an all-male high school,
you were already...
I was already fine, but also like I don't know what it would be like to live on a co-ed floor. It probably wasn't that much different, but I really enjoyed it was like being in a fraternity despite never joining one.
It felt like a fraternity going down to that floor.
It smelled a little bit.
The smells, the vibes. But all the guys on floor 8, I liked them all. They were all pretty good.
And also like I felt like there was a level of like camaraderie of like being the all boys floor or all male floor, where it's just like, yeah, we're men. And can I say this on the podcast? I was the first guy to have a girl spend the night. We didn't do it. Did you know that?
What?
You didn't know that?
No.
Am I allowed to tell you this?
We're learning new things on this podcast.
I garnered respect from the other men on the floor by having there was no activity beyond this girl spending the night in our room.
you were
but
the
all
first
these
one.
guys were like, what the fuck, Michael?
But
so
see,
cool.
You were always like that feeling I had. You were just like that with women. You were friendly and welcoming and not creepy, not pressury. You're just like, I just want to be friends with you. And like, that was something a lot of those boys that were on your floor probably had not mastered yet.
Yeah.
If they do it all, who knows? But yeah, I'm not surprised to hear that. Okay, so you had a question and a point about college dorms and college experiences. I have a thought.
Please.
So a little bit about me, because I grew up in Brownsburg, but when I say Brownsburg, I mean the cornfields of Brownsburg. So, I literally, it took me 20 minutes to drive anywhere, to go to school, to go to the grocery store. So I didn't have like a neighborhood to run around in. I didn't have like third spaces, and community gatherings places were just not super accessible to me growing up in like my childhood, unless like my parents took me to town or something like that. Or when I became able to drive, like I could go places then, obviously. So going to IU, it was my first time really being in that kind of environment where like I lived on campus. There was coffee shops nearby. There was restaurants nearby. There was events happening on campus. I could take the bus. That was my first time really taking public transportation. Having to figure out like where my classes were and like navigate campus. Like that was my true kind of first time, I think, discovering Third Spaces and what like a different type of lifestyle could look like besides like what I grew up with.
Because you literally grew up in a cornfield?
Literal cornfields. Yeah. Literal cornfields. There's no sidewalks. There's, where my parents live. It's like middle of nowhere. The street is busy. It's not safe to like really go out there on like we have to walk on like the other back roads to just like go out.
It's hardly
and, like,
safe in the daylight, let alone in the nighttime.
Yeah. So, but I mean, my backyard was my third space. That was the place where I went and like had fun, and that was my creative outlet. And because I couldn't go anywhere else, so I just played in the backyard and had so much fun running around in the cornfields.
What about college was like? When you think about the friends you've made, like what do you think was so appealing about college? Because I think a lot of people who go to a college, especially like IU, have that yearning, especially right when you leave. Like we saw with your old coworker Evan, who went to IU also. Like we as people who are a few years removed, like we're like, oh, this guy needs to move on. But it's like there's a reason you have that yearning right when you leave college. Like, what do you think about college?
No,
or, like,
I was
IU for you.
I was heartbroken. Hi, Mommy Cat. Podcast debut. This is our cat, Mama. I was devastated to leave IU. I was one of those people who was like, I'm so happy here. I think it's just places like IU, because of the accessibility of like everything, and all your friends are right there, and you all meet up, and then I joined a sorority at IU, and that's how I like found my community and my like small group of people. Because a school like IU is very overwhelming. It's huge, and it's like going from like a small I had to 800 people in my graduating class, so I didn't go to like a small school by any means. But like those are kids that I knew since I was in preschool, and so then it's like, okay, this is your first time getting out there, making new friends on your own, finding yourself and finding like, okay, like, yeah, I did marching band and color guard in high school, and I like rode horses in high school, but like, I can't do that here. So what are my new interests? And like, how am I going to find my new group of people? And so then it's like, okay, for me, that was Greek life and joining a sorority. A lot of people have, it has its connotations, whatever. But I was in an unhoused sorority, so I did not live in a house. So that also kind of forced me to have to like make friends within my sorority.
Just for anybody who doesn't know, unhoused sorority does not mean, it just means your sorority did not have a dedicated living space.
Exactly. Like we didn't have like a big SRAT mansion on North Jordan, which it's now Eagleson Avenue now, or whatever it is.
Rest in peace, Robert Jordan.
Yeah.
Not really.
Not really. But so, you had to really even go even harder to find friends within that. And, that's when I found the bike team and doing Little 500 and my interest there. And so I don't know, I think it's just like college is just so much about you're on your own and you've got to really take ownership of that. And I think, finding those cool coffee shops, and then when you turn 21, like finding the bar that you like to go to that fits your friend vibe. And then
what's your bar, Anna?
Upstairs.
No hesitation.
Upstairs was always
we have
the
to
place.
clarify that we liked upstairs before it was cool. And now it is cool.
100%.
And we sound so lame saying that, but literally
we were there when underwear was still stapled to the ceiling.
I forgot about that.
And so yeah, it's a whole different vibe there now, and a better vibe. It's even better now
yeah, honestly, now that's like legitimized, it is actually better.
It's amazing, and they still don't charge cover. So God bless Upstairs. I don't know if they still do free popcorn anymore, but I think college is just so formative. It's your first time out there on your own. And a place like Bloomington where there's great restaurants, the campus is just beautiful. There's so many clubs and activities and ways to get involved. Bloomington is just a beautiful area. Like you can go hiking, you can go to Brown County. Like there's just great areas nearby. It's just the perfect location. So
there are other perfect locations, but IU is the
it's very special there for sure.
Okay, so then after college, you moved to West Lafayette, Indiana.
Yes.
We're going to do the whole progression.
We're going to go through the whole...
We're going the whole life.
Yes.
We moved to West Lafayette, Indiana. And actually, I think it's interesting to think about West Lafayette in the context of community because at least West Lafayette, by our perception, we were straight out of college. So I didn't live with you for the first 6 months, but when I moved in with you in 2019, you were in a weird point where it was the population of West Lafayette was too young for you to hang out with because they're all still in college, and you
And
don't
I did
like
not want to hang out with
you
Purdue.
don't go hang out with Purdue students as an IU person.
Yeah.
But also the adult population was sort of family focused, people who were, let's say, 35 and up
Yeah.
with at least one child.
Yeah.
So that's also isolating. So as somebody fresh out of college, your main friend group was your coworkers who were also fresh out of college. So can you tell me a little bit about that sort of how you found community at work in a weird way?
Yeah. Working in news, it's a very like trauma bonding experience. It's really tough right out of the gate. Nothing, as much as you can try with college and other pre-experiences, nothing really prepares you for entering that field and the pressure and the deadlines and the expectations and then everything else. So it's a very overwhelming experience kind of. And then you're in like a tiny town and it's like, okay, where do you find news? What's going on in West Lafayette? What's happening? And like, you do find it. There is stuff happening up there. And shout out to Lafayette. Shout out to them. It was rough going to Purdue land, but I'm very grateful for that experience there. But I think the friends that I made who came in kind of at the same time as me, we were all kind of in the same boat. None of us were from there. We were all trying to figure out this job together. And I think it's just a very pivotal experience that we could like lean on each other and, laugh about the experiences together. I mean, you've sat through many of our conversations and things where we talk about, this happened with this VOSA. No, that live shot went down in the VO. And, you just know the lingo and the nitty gritty of what happened of your day and just how crazy it can be. So I think that's where I was just really blessed to have really great friends that I met and I'm still friends with today. So shout out to Micah and Marvin.
Literally world travelers.
Yeah.
All of
Love
you.
them. Yeah. But it was definitely hard. Like finding, like it's in college, it's all set up for you. It's all right there. And then when you become an adult, whether you move to Chicago right out of college or you move to West Lafayette, Indiana, it's so hard to like make that transition to then it's like, okay, where do I find, it's not all set up for me now. Like, how do I find my people and how do I find community? And that's where I think a lot of that fear and anxiety of leaving college and entering the adult world on top of, okay, now you got bills, now you got student loans, now you got to do all this stuff or, it's overwhelming. And I think it's scary.
Yeah. And I also think that like, even for me, who didn't have like work friends, because I worked at like a restaurant, but like I don't know if you remember this, but I slowly was creeping my way into becoming friends with the local librarian. Do you remember that?
No.
Because I was really interested in Dungeons and Dragons, and I had just ended my tenure as a camp counselor.
Yeah.
And so I was trying to become friends with the local librarian to run a youth Dungeons and Dragons like after school thing. But then COVID hit and that then shut down all of that.
I think about that. Like, what would have our West Lafayette experience been like had the pandemic not hit? Because, that was a huge thing. Like, whatever access to third spaces we did have was just immediately cut off. And, I at least had work and my friends through work and who were your friends as well. But like, I think about you and I'm like, you really did not have much of like a friend group there. And like,
I played a lot of World of Warcraft during a lot of World of Warcraft and Rocket League during COVID.
Yeah, that was tough for sure.
Yeah, I think the idea of COVID, unfortunately, in a very negative sense, is a deep hindrance to people's ability to associate with each other. And I think we don't even understand the fallout of that yet.
Yeah.
But in the context of our lives, like it completely shut down any like it actually like reinforced our direct relationship, you and I, because we were forced to spend all the time
We made
together.
I remember joking. It's like, if we can make it through this, like we're golden.
But I have like no West Lafayette friends.
No.
No like real human contact from that time.
No.
Other than you and our cat.
Our cat, and going to Sushi Don and getting our favorite spicy tuna with lemon roll, and going to Happy Hollow Park and sitting outside and eating our sushi. That's a good memory.
Shout out to Happy Hollow Park. The only beautiful part of West Lafayette.
That was my third space. That park like kept me sane, because I would just go on walks like all the time, and it was beautiful, and that was like the only safe thing to do. Mm-hmm. But yeah, shout out to that park. Okay,
the next thing we did in 2021. Was that 2021?
2021.
Oh my God, our lives are so weird. We're not doing this.
Big Suey, Razorbacks.
I will not be partaking in that.
You were such a fan.
So in 2021, just Anna previewed it if you're a sports fan. We moved to Fayetteville, Arkansas. And when you hear Arkansas as the place you're going to move, I wonder if you, the listener, get a little bit of ick.
What do you think internally?
We got ick.
Yeah.
I think both of us had a level of ick.
I think it's just like question mark. I was like, where's Arkansas? I had no frame of reference. I'd never like, you hear about like the Little Rock Five in history class, but like that was like, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing. I had no idea.
Honestly, I didn't even know the Clintons were from Arkansas before then.
Yeah, Bill Clinton. There was a contestant on The Bachelor who was from Arkansas, and
that guy from Love Is Blind.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Yeah, but she had like such a twangy accent, and I remember she was like a rice farmer or whatever, so I knew that there was like rice in Arkansas, but that's like a whole different part of the state. We never even like saw rice farms, but whatever.
I never went to Little Rock, and I never wanted to go.
And I'm good as well.
But where we lived was the region called Northwest Arkansas. This is the people outside of Northwest Arkansas call it the land of milk and honey, because that's where the Walton family has laid their roots.
Tyson
Chicken, and that shipping company.
JB Hunt,
the shipping company.
Yeah.
And whatever they do. All a mystery to me. Yay, corporate overlords. Mm-hmm. But because of that, there is this sort of, land of milk and honey is not too far off. It's a lovely part of the country and part of the state especially. Like, we actually, as soon as I looked up like an image of Fayetteville, I was like, oh, this looks really nice.
It looks pretty. It's like Ozark Mountains are right there. You're like, wow, it looks kind of scenic. It's like a cute college town. Fayetteville reminded me a lot of Bloomington, in terms of its vibe.
Uh-huh. So in the context of our lives, the community that we found in Fayetteville was sort of odd. Like, it became like, there was a pizza shop that opened called Pizzeria Ruby. Always shout out Pizzeria Ruby.
God bless Pizzeria Ruby.
I wish they could open a franchise here. Maybe the best pizza in the country. I'll say it.
Best pasta.
Oh,
their
so
pasta.
Good.
Oh my Lord. The tiramisu.
In the middle of Arkansas, a large Bostonian man opened a pizza shop. And I would go there regularly and became friends with the manager and some of the employees, and like by extension became friends with them. So I would hang out with them outside, and then you would do that. And then also you had a couple of work friends that became, as always, a couple of work friends that sort of became regular recurring characters.
Yeah. Well, it helped that because the apartment complex we lived in had housed like other employees lived at this apartment complex.
Oh, that's true.
So it was kind of college-y-esque a little bit, where it was like, okay, like, Haley was having a wine night, or we were having New Year's Eve party at Will and Jen's, and then it's like pool party day. So it was, or game nights. We did game nights a lot. So it was, and we were all, again, not from Northwest Arkansas. We were all a bunch of transplants. We were all a bunch of people who were like, we're in Arkansas, let's hang out and have fun. And so it was really, that was a fun way of kind of doing the adulting of making friends, and that was really awesome.
Mm-hmm. I would also say that's where, for me, my love of like small business, like not small businesses, but small business owners came from, because like that's when we became friends with Whitney, who's the candle shop lady.
That's when we started going to farmers markets. Shout out to the Fayetteville farmers market.
And like I frequented a coffee shop and became friends with the owner and a lot of the employees there. So like because of the and I didn't have the words the way I do now, the words to put to like why that was so much more meaningful to me than other sort of connections to businesses.
Northwest Arkansas is truly like a small business like heaven, I feel. Like we never ate at a chain restaurant except for, what was that one like Mexican restaurant that was kind of nearby our apartment?
Well, yeah, I go to Whataburger.
Oh, well, Whataburger, okay. Whatever. That's a different vibe. I just like the small business restaurants, the coffee shops. You became friends with the coffee shop guy down the...
Yeah, that's Tommy.
Tommy, yeah. Like, I don't know. It was just, that was a very eye-opening experience because of just like the diversity of like good local restaurants. Like we had multiple bangers and you could have different types of cuisine that it's like you wouldn't expect in Northwest Arkansas, but it was really good local food.
This is the time where I feel like I also really started to develop an understanding of what, without the terminology, but like an understanding of like what a good like community town looks like, because there's a giant path similar to the Monon here in Indianapolis, but it's called the Razorback Greenway. Everything is
Woo Pig Suey
down in Arkansas, but a totally like interconnected system of bike paths, which also exists on an old train line. Rest in peace. Actually, rest in peace in this case. And also just like this understanding that what makes a place special is the people that live there, not the Walmarts or that type of thing. It's like the people of Fayetteville make Fayetteville interesting. And that's why, frankly, Bentonville was less interesting to me, because the people of Fayetteville were more of... it's
like
not
salt of the earth, a little down.
Well, it's more like they fit my interests more. Like people who live in Bentonville fit their interests, and that's cool.
It was very interesting, the different like personalities of the towns in Northwest Arkansas, and you could go to Bentonville and get that like kind of upscale, trendy, like the bars there were really cool. I loved going up there for like the bars and things, and of course for Crystal Bridges. Shout out to Crystal Bridges as a beautiful free art museum. That was amazing. But then like Fayetteville just felt a little like homier, and a little like they had George's Majestic lounge, which was the like
I never went there. You went there.
It was this like music bar that had been there for like decades, and it just had that kind of like lived in feel, and like they were all about the local bands and things like that. So it just had a little bit more of like an older feel, just because I think Fayetteville had like was a bigger town and it existed more and just had kind of a deeper history compared to Bentonville, where Bentonville was more built up and things like that because of the Waltons. But you could go and get your different vibes in different places. Then you go to Springdale, and that's where all the, great Mexican food was. That's where, because of the Hispanic population there, working for Tyson, like you had Marshallese people there. Like there was a lot more, I feel like, some good diversity there. So it was just a really cool place.
Just imagine in your mind right now, listener, that Broad Ripple has mountains, and that's kind of what Fayetteville feels like. Yeah. Like if you imagine what Broad Ripple Village, Broad Ripple Avenue is like, just imagine half a mile north, or I guess in Fayetteville's case, like half a mile south. East. Well, actually all around in every direction. Yeah, there's just like random mountains in that.
Yeah. Well, and going back to like your point about the Razorback Greenway, because I think one of your guests, every time guests ask a question on your podcast, I always think like, what would I answer? Like, what would my answer be? And I think you asked, or somebody asked, I can't remember, like, what is a third space like somewhere else that you wish Indianapolis had? Or do you remember that question?
Oh, that was a long time ago, but yeah.
Yeah. And I thought about that a lot. And then I was like, oh my gosh. Because I was like, okay, like the Razorback Greenway, we have the Monon, but like what made the Razorback Greenway like so much better in my brain? And I think it's because of like the utilization of the Greenway, like doing like the square, like they did an event called Square to Square, where like everybody would start up in Bentonville and then you'd ride your bikes down to Fayetteville, and then in the fall, and then in the spring they'd flip it and you'd go from Fayetteville up to Bentonville. And like that forced people to like get on the Greenway and like explore and like connect to different towns that you don't really necessarily go to. Like we'd ride the Greenway to Fayetteville back and forth all the time. But without that event, we maybe wouldn't have gone all the way up to Bentonville and done that. And then I think here in Broad Ripple, we do a really good job on the Monon of building up business around the Monon. Because, you know, you can walk on the Monon here and you can go to Renee's and get your big, fat, juicy cinnamon roll. And then you can, it goes right by the Broad Ripple Avenue. So you can like go to the bars or whatever. I think, and there's a bike shop here that is accessible. But I remember when we rode our bikes from downtown to Broad Ripple, I feel like it was just like a bike path.
Yeah. There's
like,
a lack of things.
There's lack of things.
Like, there's a lack of things between like, well, there's reasons for that, but between like 38th and 16th, basically.
Yeah. And I can't really speak for like north, like going up towards like Hamilton County, because I haven't, you know, gone up there. But I just feel like on the Razorback Greenway, they did a great job of like, there was like restaurants, like we had, oh my gosh.
Nomad?
Well,
you
the
big,
there was the lumberyard that got turned into the big outdoor.
Oh, the park green. No,
City Park. Oh my gosh. Like that is a business that was like designed to like be on a bike path where like people are riding their bike. It was this old lumberyard that they then renovated into this like restaurant. It's a huge outdoors. All the seating is outdoors. You order from the table and they bring you out like burgers and things like that. And they had fire pits and they had cornhole and they had lawn games and kids were running around and dogs were there. And it was just like, that's like, I'm like, I want that here, which I think we do kind of have. I think the barbecue restaurant on the Monon, I think there are places like that we just have not quite explored yet. But I feel like I want more of that on the Monon.
The clubhouse is trying.
The clubhouse is a great example. I think Broad Ripple does what I want for the Monon really well. But I think when we did that bike ride, I was like, there's nothing to stop and do between downtown and Broad Ripple. And also when I think about having accessible bike shops and things like that for when you get a flat tire. It's like if I get a flat tire when we just started in Indianapolis downtown, you know, I'm sure there's bike shops nearby. I'm not sure. I haven't Googled
there
that.
Are
but
not that
I
many.
think...
Especially on the path where you would have a bike.
But I think the Razorback Greenway, and just because I think cycling culture is just so big there, they think about those things and they kind of act accordingly. And so, but I think I would love to see the Monon become more like the Razorback Greenway and like connecting people and becoming like a giant, just like third space path, you know? Mommy cat.
The cat is back. So then from Fayetteville, we moved to Indianapolis,
Back here.
Indiana,
Back
last
home
year.
again.
We are now a little over a year in.
Yeah.
We moved. Well, you moved at the beginning of October. I moved at the end. What is this cat doing? What a demon!
Just sit here on the.
Yeah, on the little video monitor.
Highly recommend you watch this if you can. It's just funny watching.
What is your opinion of Indianapolis as a city or a community compared to, especially now that we are in the present?
Yeah.
This is where we presently are, like compared to where we, especially again, as somebody who grew up here, but not exactly grew up here.
Yeah.
Like, what is your perception of Indianapolis in terms of like as a community city?
Yeah. I think I'm learning a lot and overcoming my own kind of like perceivedness about Indianapolis, living here, and especially through the podcast and like all the exploring that we do, because of the people you meet and like the places we get to go. And because you're just an adventurous person in general, you really, encourage me in that way. I definitely had like views of Indianapolis, and, you hear, the news here focuses a lot on the crime, and you hear a lot about things and driving on the highway through kind of like those neighborhoods, kind of like around the Children's Museum area, you see kind of like the rundown houses, and you're like, I don't know, I just had like my own kind of ignorant kind of views of what Indianapolis was and things like that. And so it's been really cool coming back. Oh my gosh.
She just climbed into the suitcase. What did she do? I don't know if she can get out of there. That's okay.
We'll figure it out. She'll figure it out. Yeah, I just had my perceived connotations of Indianapolis. But I was excited to move back and excited to move to Broad Ripple. And I've gone places since we've moved back that I've never been. Hang out in Fountain Square. Riding the Red Line, I think, has been like, I know you're the biggest Red Line proponent here. And as an extension, I have become a big fan of it. And, I very much enjoy that connectedness and that ability to like go to different places and experience different parts of the city very easily. And yeah, again, it's like you learn about the people, and then you go to the restaurants and you go to the parks and you find your own community here again. That's completely different than the one that I had growing up. And it is a very different vibe. And I think it's definitely, Indianapolis has changed a lot since we moved out.
So you said like you have gone places you've never gone before. Are there places that you previously knew of that you have gone recently that are like, ooh, I've always wondered about this place, or I've always heard about it and never really knew?
I would just
because
say,
there's also, but sorry to interrupt,
No,
there's
good.
also the idea of what is new or what has changed.
Yeah.
Because there is a literal 10-year gap of you
Yeah.
not living here.
15 if we were really doing the math.
Yeah.
But like the whole like Fountain Square and like Garfield Park area never went growing up. Literally never. Absolutely. Like my mom and dad, like my mom went to North Central, my dad went to Pike. We've always been kind of like a West Side family. So like, I'm more familiar with that side of town. So like the eastern side and like southeastern side of town, I definitely did not spend any time in really growing up. And so like I remember my cousin got married in Fountain Square when I was a senior in high school. And that was like my first time like seeing the fountain. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. And that was kind of around the time when it was all starting to like change and things like that. So I remember being there for that moment, and then so it's really cool coming back and seeing how it's evolved even further. And then going to Garfield Park, that's what I want Broad Ripple Park to be. Like that Garfield Park has such a home feeling vibe. Like the homes are all around it. Like, and I love history. I love old things.
There are homes around Broad Ripple.
There are. Well, it's a little bit more naturey, but my point is I love history. I get sad when things that are old get torn down or get changed, even though sometimes it is for the better. But, going to Garfield Park, it's like, that feels like that park that's how it's been. Like, I don't know. It feels authentic, and you see people at the tennis courts, and you see the farmers market, and it's beautiful, and that cute little library down there, and the conservatory. Like, I love seeing the postcards of like from like the 19-teens of like, this is what this area, like they have the little Garfield Park Conservatory postcards, and I'm like, I feel connected to that, because it's like, that's what it looked like. This is what it looked like back then, and it still looks like that now. And I think that's really powerful. And there, I went with Ethan to that. There was a music festival that they had there they had art vendors, and it was just lively, and it's just like right in that neighborhood, and it's like the heartbeat of that neighborhood. And I think I was telling my mom about it, and she was like, I never went to Garfield Park growing up. So it's like she never even went. So it's like, why would she have like thought to take like her kids there? So it's kind of breaking a generational like cycle of like, and exploring the city and going places that you've never really gone to. But I think they do such a great job in Garfield Park and in those cute little shops right there on Shelby Street. Shout out to the Indy Type Shop and to the Pen and Pink. Mm-hmm. I love that bookstore. That I could sit and talk with her all day about female literature, and I love her. So, they have great, restaurants and shops that are very genuine to that area as well. And so, yeah, I just think that's a part of town that I've very much enjoyed going to. Mm. And all because the Red Line takes you right there.
Literally.
Yeah.
I've never driven to Garfield Park.
That would be such a haul. That would be far from Broad Ripple. Especially, everything's far from Broad Ripple because we have no direct access to the highway. So.
In my ideal world, no one has direct access to the highway. But don't get me started. Anyways, Anna, it's time for the canned questions.
Let's go.
This has been a fun adventure to reflect a little bit. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome.
Mark Latta and cityrising.org have sponsored the podcast. You're so funny.
Shout out, Mark.
Yeah, Mark. You still haven't met him.
I still haven't.
You've met like a lot of...
I've met a lot of the people, but not Mark.
Mark owns a social impact studio called City Rising. And I wrote down a new tagline for it. It's from the website. City Rising is a social impact studio that leads and supports innovative projects that strengthen, celebrate, and repair people and places. If you are a people and or an organization, and you are interested in sort of improving your lived environment, your neighborhood, your whatever, and you are interested in doing that centered on people, then I think Mark Latta would be a great partner for you. Reach out to me or go to cityrising.org and get connected. Dang, I'm getting way better at that. Mark has sponsored a question. Anna, what is a third space to you? You've heard me give the spiel so many times.
According to the guy who wrote the book, third, whatever.
You got to remember the name of the guy that wrote the book.
I don't remember his name, if I'm being So I think I might kind of frame it as like what has been like the universal third space for me in my life. And I feel like just the outdoors and nature have always been like my third space. Because I think about, I was a kid and I could only play out in the backyard because that was the only place I could go to like have fun when I got home from school. So like my backyard. #cornfield. Loved it. But I had so much fun. I had a great time imagining my own worlds back there. And then it's like, okay, my family, we'd go camping all the time. And shout out to the Indiana State Parks, because we have fantastic parks and they're wonderful and they're beautiful and accessible. Only about $7 to get in when you're an Indiana State resident. So, that's where my family, we spent a lot of our vacations and family time was camping. And then going to college and biking around Bloomington, that's where I spent my time because I could just be outside. And then coming here and going on walks on Happy Hollow Park, Razorback Greenway, Monon Trail, like walking around our neighborhood. I just feel like there's so much that you can like learn about your community by just walking around and like looking at the homes and seeing like, oh, that new statue is going up in Broad Ripple now. Like that's
this very day of recording, I posted a photo on the Instagram story. I don't want to call it horrifying because we were just talking about how it actually is not that bad looking when you look at it. But
yeah,
the scary new metal man is on the corner of College and Broad Ripple Avenue.
But it's like when you go on a walk, you can stop and look at it and like take a photo. I don't know. And I think, and then learning on your podcast, like the We Walk Indy and I think there's great people who are making the outdoors and making that the place where people can connect and like learn about their community and like find peace. A few months ago when everything was kind of popping off in the news in like the worst ways, I remember talking with my therapist about it's like I sit on scroll on my phone and it's just like death, destruction, chaos back to back. And then I like look out my window and like the sun is shining and like the squirrels are running around and the wind is blowing. And it's like, it's the juxtaposition of like the world looks like it's burning, but then you look out your window and it's just a beautiful day. And I think there's power in going out and touching grass and hugging the tree and, you know, using that to help kind of recenter yourself in this kind of chaotic world. It's free to go and walk around your neighborhood, and there's so much beauty that you can, you know, you can take, like I take photos of, I took some photos of some pretty trees on the Monon on my walk this afternoon. And, you know, and that's just like a memory that I can look at when it's gloomy and gross in the next few months and look back on and feel happiness from. And so I think third spaces to me is the outdoors, and because that's a place where anybody can come and meet, and we can do free yoga in the park with Tony.
Shout out Tony.
We can go on walks with friends. We can debate porches. Like, I don't know. I feel like that's the theme throughout my life has been nature and the power of the outdoors.
And if you're lucky, you get visited by a trail cat.
Exactly.
You have not been lucky.
You have been stealing
around.
all of my trail cat energy, but I'm so glad for you that you get to see all the cats. Shout out mommy cat.
Yeah, this cat is so I get the trail cats, you get the cat we live with. That's
Yes.
the real truth of it. Unless you're not home, in which case she bothers me.
Yeah.
Like today when you went to the gym, she bothered me. My boss really likes mommy cat. She's like, oh, a cat, meow. Just like that.
Everyone loves mommy cat. She wins over everybody.
Can you talk a little bit more about spending time with your family while camping? Mm-hmm. Like, why is that so important to you?
Because I think it's like we have to be there, you know, like we're all packed up, the food's there, you're driving to the place, and then you're in the woods, and it's like, so you're kind of like forced to all be there. But, you know, I have a lot of fun memories of camping, of like, again, like being like, okay, bye mom and dad, we're gonna go ride on our bikes and run around and like make friends with, like, I remember like getting like the addresses of like girls I would meet on the playground, and the friends I would meet in that like week of camping, and we'd be like, oh, we're gonna write to each other, and of course we never really did. But you know, I think there's like it's like you really have community and camaraderie when you're camping, because it's like everybody's out there, and you see people's decorations, and people are displaying their college flags, and you smell all the food when you wake up in the morning, and it's just a very kind of communal feeling. And then when you're with your family, and then you're sitting by the campfire, and you finally get to actually like talk, and you generally don't have cell service, so the phones aren't there, and you bring a book and you do a puzzle, and it's just much more grounding. And I don't know, I feel like we always just really enjoyed it. And again, Indiana state parks are beautiful and accessible. So
yeah, I've never really talked about like summer camp on this podcast, but that's a whole other thing.
That's a whole other
like traditional go to live in a cabin for a week summer camp. And the summer camp you do with your family is like, that's like a totally different and wonderful experience.
Yeah. Same, but different. Same, you know?
Yeah. Well, different group of people.
Yes, different vibes.
Next question. What is a third space that used to exist, that no longer exists, that you miss?
I
know you have a lot of answers to this.
really,
this was the original theme that you wanted to run with.
Yeah, this was the question that I've said you should ask people.
Well, this is an Ed Fujawa question that I've absorbed.
And then I was like, you should ask everybody that, because I think it's a really good question.
It actually always ends up being good.
I'm going to shout out the malls that used to exist here in Indianapolis, Lafayette Square Mall and Circle Center. I have very vivid memories of going to Lafayette Square Mall with my mom and throwing coins in the fountain and everything there. And then going to Circle Center, oh my gosh, like getting to go downtown. I always loved the movie Eloise when I was a kid. Like the idea of being just like a little girl in like a big city, and like there's lights and shopping, and it's a great one. We should watch it. But it's just basically like the story of this girl who lives in a hotel in New York City, and she like, you know.
Oh, like Home Alone 2.
kind of, but you know, she runs the place, and like they go on a carriage ride and go Christmas shopping, and I don't know, just like for me, my little cornfield girl, getting to go downtown, go see the big cities, the skyscrapers, and back then they did have horse-drawn carriages downtown. They don't have them anymore, thankfully, because they're problematic. But I loved seeing the horses on the trail and downtown, and going shopping and seeing the people there and the clothes and the mannequins. I don't know, it was just all very glamorous, and I loved it. And it was a very special place, especially during the holidays and going like around Christmas time. And moving back, when I walked through Circle Center for the first time, and it's just a complete ghost town, it's heartbreaking.
It was like with me, right?
Yeah.
For the trailer?
No, that was, I was waiting to have lunch with somebody downtown. I was trying to kill some time, and I was like, oh, Circle Center's right there. Let me go walk around. It's heartbreaking how
like a shell.
It's a complete shell. And like, I'm like, oh, all these, I can still see the shops that were in those spots, and the kiosks in the middle that I don't, it's just, Circle Center Mall was a very just like formative thing for me growing up. And it was always very special to get to go down there and experience people and experience the bustling city vibe. And, it was so different and so glamorous, and I always really loved it. I know there's great plans, I think, in store for Circle Center, and I think it will become something much better. I think there's like housing and whole different vibe that's planned there. I'm not sure the details, but I'm excited to see what it hopefully becomes, and hopefully brings more life downtown, because that was a place I really missed.
Hashtag make Monument Circle a Kringle,
an ice skating
Christmas
rink.
market.
Chris Kindle Mart.
We can't call it that
because that's caramel.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, make it a Christmas market.
Anna, the most avid Third Space Indy listener, other than my mother. Actually, maybe more than my mother. I don't know. My mom, she listens to every episode, but slowly.
Yeah.
But that's okay. My previous guest, you already know this because you cheated.
Just because I'm an avid listener.
Cheater. Nora Elder asks, are you an animal, mineral, or vegetable? May I add an addendum here? You cannot answer cat.
Okay. See, I was going to say, the animal one that's like a deep-seated conundrum in my life, because I'm a horse girl, but I'm also a cat girl.
Those are like the two the most
very
problematic
strong
ones.
Female stereotypes right there. So I've thought deeply about, am I cat or am I horse? And
what about neither?
See, but like
what calls to you?
I mean, maybe squirrel right now.
Yeah.
Just because.
But that's why it's animal, mineral, or vegetable. You can only pick one. And except even though I did.
Yeah, you did all of them.
I did all of them. But it's my show.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, for vegetable, I think I would go with corn. Which is really funny. Because I grew up around corn. I love eating corn. I love summertime. Shout out to Maloney Corn, Maloney Farms out in Brownsburg. That's where we get our family's corn, and it slaps.
I'm going to ask a really stupid question.
Okay.
Is corn a vegetable?
I think it is.
Or is it a grain?
I mean, I think when...
It grows on grass.
I think when you take corn kernels, that's a grain. But I think corn on the cob, I don't know. That's a... I could Google it.
I'm not trying to be pedantic here.
I can Google it.
I genuinely don't know.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think it is. I was thinking tomato before, because I also love tomatoes, but that's a fruit. So is corn a vegetable? Yes. Oh, it can be considered both a vegetable and a grain, depending on how it's used. And botanically, it is a fruit.
That makes sense. Well, I think a vegetable is just a legal designation.
Yeah.
Whereas fruit is actually like a thing.
An actual thing. So yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's like how it rolls.
Yeah.
Do you have any mineral?
I had to
You don't know any minerals?
I'm not really, I don't know.
Lead.
Calcium. I don't know.
What are horseshoes made out of?
Metal? Like a metal of some kind.
What kind of horse girl are you?
I'm not a farrier. I don't do the feet.
Is there anything else you want to talk about?
I'll give this.
Get on your
moment.
high horse.
High Horse by Casey Musgraves, a great song. Maybe that'll be my walkout song.
That's really and I asked you what your walkout song would be like more than 2 months ago.
You know
still
how
haven't
much
answered.
music overwhelms me and stresses me out. I'll just say how proud I am of you.
Ooh.
And doing this podcast, like,
Shout out to Patrick Armstrong. Who do you want to give your flowers? Or your
yeah,
flowers?
I'm gonna give my bouquet of flowers to you.
There's a bouquet of flowers over there you can hand me.
Yeah, I have a lot of plants in here too. You know, I try to say this as much as I can. So thankful for you for coming with me on all of these places that we've gone, because it's generally been for my career move that we've moved to West Lafayette, to Fayetteville, back to Indianapolis.
Let's make it very clear. I didn't move here by choice.
I asked you, I said, hey, do you want to go back? And you said, yeah. So I'm very grateful for you for doing that. I'm grateful for you for just being with me through all the chaos that has been, you know, the ups and downs of my career. And then, you know, how brave you were when you got laid off. I think I've said this to you before, where I'm like, I don't think I could be, I mean, maybe necessity breeds conviction, but, you know, you got out there and you met people and you, I don't know, it was just, you were so extroverted in a way that I'd never seen
more
you
than
before.
normal. What do you mean?
But I mean, like.
Well, I just think that I don't agree with you. I think it's a return to a younger Michael.
Yeah.
Because when I worked at summer camp, I was like.
You were the king.
Freakishly annoying, but like in a way I think people respected.
Yeah, that's
which
different.
I think is
but
now.
Again, summer camp is a very like niche and bubble place where it's like that's encouraged and you thrive there. But like out in the real world, it's so hard to like do that. And then to, you know, start this podcast from the ground up and seeing the following you've gotten and just seeing how passionate you are about it and how you've lit up. Like, I think back to those West Lafayette Michael, and that was sad Michael vibes. That was a sad time.
Dark times.
And like thinking about that to now and how like happy you are and like seeing you do something that like so brave and so like out there and so much hard work, like you just are killing it. And I'm proud of you.
Well, thank you.
Yeah.
That's very kind.
Yeah.
I don't know how to accept compliments.
And I'm
really nice of
thankful that you were having me on.
Of course. No, yeah, I want to make it very clear this was not under duress. I was not forced to have you on.
No.
And maybe you will be the ever constant question. Who is the recurring guest on Third Space Indy?
Maybe it'll be me.
Maybe it'll be Anna. Maybe it'll be Patrick. Maybe it'll be Ed Fujawa. Maybe it'll be nobody.
Yeah.
What does it take to be a recurring guest?
I don't know. Maybe we'll just have a fun topic.
Honestly, the only recurring guest we've had is Adam Hinsey because he's been on technically 2 episodes. Shout out to Adam Hinsey,
Yeah.
Indie Type Shop.
Can I ask a question to the next guest? Per your podcast.
I was literally
order?
going to skip past that, but that's so funny. I'm so glad you reminded me. Anna, what question would you like to ask? How long have you had this cooking? I'm going to ask that before you.
A while. Well, because it's like you got to think. Like I hear everybody else's questions, and then I'm like, I like evaluate the ones that I had in my brain, like whatever. So I have 2 questions. That's kind of
2 questions.
Yeah. First, where is your favorite Asian food in the city? Because I love Asian cuisine. I'm looking for ramen. I'm looking for sushi. I'm looking for Chinese. I'm looking for Vietnamese. What's your favorite?
Asia's a large continent.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Are you including India in there too?
Yeah, sure. We could put India in there. Okay. I mean, just
like Eastern Russia.
No.
Okay, what is your favorite Indian food?
No, Asian food.
Asian food. What is your favorite?
He never listens to me. And then the question that I asked Chef Tyler at his...
I don't remember what question you asked Chef Tyler.
I asked him, how have you seen Indianapolis evolve in the past 10 years, and where do you see it going in the next 10 years? You know,
you're lucky that I know the next person has been here at least for 10 years.
Okay, it could be, you know, or from the time that they arrived, you know, however the question fits them.
The 2 questions. What is your favorite Asian food in Indianapolis.
Yeah.
The next question is, how have you seen Indianapolis evolve over the past 10 years? Who said you could get 2 questions?
Me.
Wife privilege.
Other people have asked 2 questions.
I mean, kind of. I don't know how to end the podcast. Thanks so much for, well, actually, Anna, do you want people to find you?
Sure, you can follow me. My professional page is at Anna Darling TV on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I'm not super active on Twitter or Facebook, but I do like to pop around on Instagram.
All right. Thank you, Anna, for joining me
Yeah,
on the podcast.
love you.
Did you have fun?
Yeah,
I love you too.
this wasn't so scary.
I don't think it was scary.
No.
Did I say it was scary at the beginning? Oh, you were saying
No.
that for yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for listening or watching this episode of Third Space Indy. Third Space Indy is brought to you by cityrising.org. Also, the intro music is done by the local artist, Jennison. Thank you, Jennison, for sharing your music with me and the people. Thank you so much. You can follow Third Space Indy at Third Space Indy on Instagram or by going to thirdspaceindy.com, where I write a weekly blog that I release every Monday at varying times. I used to say the morning, but sometimes it's in the afternoon. One time it was in the evening. That's okay. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to share the next one with you. Have a great rest of the day.
Bye, Mommy Cat.
Goodbye, Mommy Cat. Goodbye.
Say goodbye to your fans.
Scared rabbit, is the coast clear? Go grab it, you're gonna starve here. On your bed of death with one regret, what you never said.